So yeah, this is discussing the real estate right here. Um, you know, I threw my glasses on because it's kind of sunny out here. Can't be out here just getting blinded by the sun. But look, six reasons for 6 reasons why you should be an building, apartment building investing. This book right here was a great book that I read. I got a lot of insight on real estate and how to invest real estate without using any sort of capital or startup funds. And basically, you know, it was just basically discussing like wholesaling and shit like that. And I would say I learned a lot of information about how to wholesale a property without even having to put any sort of money down. Um, so yeah, this book I recommend if you are interested in any sort of wholesaling or even doing real estate without having any startup cost or startup capital to do it. Um, Here's a few notes that I wrote down from this book that I utilize for me, and that I used to like kind of cross-reference my notes. These are 6 reasons why apartment buildings are better than single-family homes when it comes to like investing in real estate. So you got to, well, number one, apartment building investing is more passive. You know what I mean? It's unless you're an investor that has large portfolio of houses, like hella single family homes, then it's not common for a property manager to manage all those houses. So with that being said, I mean, you're gonna be stuck with those houses. I mean, so I don't encourage you to do real estate if you're doing single family homes. I mean, yes, you can make some money. You can make a quick flip on that, but you're not really gonna make any money in that industry for real, not unless you're dealing with apartment buildings, because apartment buildings and investing is like more passive. Like you have more passive income because of the tenants and like how many different, you know, different. Basically, because you can utilize an apartment complex or multifamily to as collateral to obtain another property. And the more tenants you have, the more occupants you have, the more money you're building, and the more money you're making passively. Because if you have tenants and occupants in your multifamily homes, then you're basically paying your property off, or your apartment multifamily off with the tenants monthly monthly payments, monthly payments. So like that's one way that you can that I recommend, you know, apartment building over doing or dealing with single family homes. Another reason, I mean, like another good thing is that you can find and hire a good property manager who will find and pre-screen the tenants and answer calls 24/7 and maintain and repair his collection of rent and maintain all reports and reviews. So in other words, whenever you're dealing with apartment building, you gotta make sure you have a good team to be able to make this thing work. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have a good team. You gotta have a good maintenance team. You gotta have a good property manager. You gotta have a good accountant. You gotta have a good lawyer. You know, you gotta have all these things, and that's how you're gonna make this thing work. I mean, even if you're just paying them by the booking, or you're paying them by the project, I mean, that's all that matters, bro. Like even if you're paying them a flat rate and paying them monthly or annually, you know, it's good to have a team, because this team is what helps you become more successful in the apartment or real estate industry. I highly suggest that you, and it's not hard, I mean, because you don't necessarily have to have all these these top tier individuals and stuff like that, because you can just get a virtual lawyer. You know what I mean? You can get somebody who can represent for you, just to do read over contracts and stuff like that, and do that. I mean, for you. I mean, so that's just if you're interested on that side of the business. But like wholesaling, you primarily don't have to deal with all that. You just connecting the buyer to seller, or seller to buyer, and you make a profit on that. You know what I'm saying? You turn a profit on the amount of money that you make off that deal. It's all about obtaining and finding deals, and syndicating is primarily what you're doing. You're just basically finding good deals for the buyer or seller, and you're just a middleman. All in all, you're just a middleman. You're just connecting them to the buyer. So that's number one. Number two, the best thing about being in investing in apartment buildings and doing that is you can control the value of the apartment building. So what that means is, without apartment buildings and commercial real estate in general, it's different. It's much less about comps and much more about how much net income the property produces. So like the more income it produces, the more the higher the value is. So the more your property or apartment complex produces, like as far as like dealing with the tenants and things like that, the more your property is worth. So the more people you got in your apartment building, the more that they're keeping up with the more you're keeping up with your property, the more it goes up in value and stuff like that. So as long as you can keep bad tenants out of your house, like fucking up your shit, you know what I'm saying, and keeping it up, keeping the renovations up, and keeping everything modified, and keeping everything clean, and keeping the area nice and stuff like that, your property is always gonna appreciate by a lot. You know what I mean? It's gonna make your property more valuable and make it more expensive. Not necessarily more expensive, but it makes it more increases the equity of the property. You know what I mean? So that's all in all, you want that, because the more the property is worth, the more you can sell it for, or raise the rent. You know what I mean? So next to that, you can have two identical buildings next to each other, and one could be worth more because it produces a higher net income than the other. Like example, like if I buy an underperforming building, perhaps one whose rents are low, expenses are high, and it can increase the income, decrease the expenses. It could increase the income and it could decrease the expenses, because by the professional manager that you have. So like that goes back to like the team again, like whoever you have as your property manager, that could determine like how much your how much value your apartment property has. Because initially, if you're not if you don't have a good property manager, then 9 times out of 10 the properties, or the rental properties won't, or the tenant, I mean like the units won't be filled. And if you don't have units being filled, then you're not making money. And when you're not making money, you're just not able to, be successful in that industry per se. So I highly recommend for you to, pick a good team when it comes to finding someone for your apartment complex or your apartment project. Number 3, apartments are less risky than houses. And what I mean by that is, according to the Housing Finance Policy Center in 2015 chart book, the Freddie Mac delinquencies peaked for single-family houses at about 4% in late fees. 2009 FHA delinquencies was even higher at 9%. And at the same time, delinquencies for multifamily properties peaked at 0.4%, and that included the hardest hit areas, California, Arizona, and Florida. Multifamily delinquency were 90% lower than the residential rates. And basically what that means is, when there was a inflation, there were more people who had to basically sell their homes. When there was a basically when there was a drought in the industry, there were more people that had to opt out of selling of their homes, and they went in debt, and their homes had to be, obtained and seized, not seized, but it had to be taken by the banks, and people weren't able to, uphold their properties, and because there was so much money. Like when the inflation came, obviously you had to pay more property taxes, you had to pay more mortgage, everything increased, so it was harder for a person to be able to keep that because they weren't generating any sort of income out of their properties. So they were just staying there, or they had people who were staying there who couldn't afford to stay there when inflation hit. So you don't ever have to deal with that when you have apartment buildings, because you're always going to have tenants. You control the amount of income coming in and out of these apartment complexes. So like if you have an apartment, you control your rent. So you're going to always be able to have that apartment building because you're able to control your rent. You're able to control how much money is coming in and out, and how much money you're generating off of your property. So that's one thing. Like I said, number 3 is like apartment buildings are less risky than houses. So when dealing with investing in real estate, that's one of those things to where you might be wanting to look at, because don't buy a house, go buy a duplex. You know what I mean? Go buy a duplex. Don't just buy a single family, because you're not going to be able to make money off a single family, not unless you just like some sort of big time real estate tycoon, and you just you got hella people that that's going to be able to come in your house and be able to pay that monthly rent every time, and when inflation comes, they're able to still be able to produce income and be able to pay you on time and be able to pay off that mortgage for that property. If not, I highly suggest for you to invest into multifamilies, because multifamilies is where the money is at. That's where you're gonna make your most money, and that's where you're gonna be able to survive and be able to, get through that drought, get through that storm when it's necessary, when it does come. Number 4, you can get cheap and unlimited financing when it comes to apartment complexes, and that's what the banks don't tell you. They tell you, oh well, you have to pay these, these high loans. You have to pay this high interest rate on this. You have to pay high interest rates on these homes and on these loans, these home loans and shit like that, these equity loans and shit like that for the houses, and that alone is what runs me away from trying to invest into single family homes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get an apartment complex for cheap, bro, and you on the finances on that joint. It's like it's crazy. Like, you can go get you a duplex right now. It depends on the area you're in, of course, but you go get you a duplex right now. Just like, I know, like, I'm gonna just say, like, in the Redbridge area. Matter of fact, let me see. I know there's a apartment complex down there by where I grew up at, down with my mom's. I mean, down there, down north, my mom be at and shit. There's an apartment complex like right around the corner, and it's like a 8-unit, I want to say 5 to 8 unit apartment complex, and it's like worth 500,000. 20% down, you're paying like, I think you're paying like 90, maybe 100,000 down on that joint. Yeah, yeah, because 500, if you paying 10%, it'd be 50. It'd be 50. So yeah, it's like 90,000, 90,000 to 100,000 on that property. 98,000. And that's a good deal because you can get that joint down. You can get the financing down on that joint. Like once you start breaking down the numbers and shit like that, and getting the comps and shit, and syndicating the deals on that joint. Like, you got to be able to get the historical, the history, or the what they call the I want to say what they call that shit. It's called the oh yeah, okay, yeah. So it's like it's like when you get the appraisal on that joint. Like when you get the appraisal on it like that's how you determine like the financing that you're gonna get because the that's that's how you are able to see like how much that joint gonna be. So like I said, it's like 400,000 for that joint. Like it's 400,000 for the apartment complex, but about time that it about time that you know get it appraised and you know you do the walkthroughs and you know you have somebody come and inspect the property, the value of the apartment complex could go down by a lot. So it could say that it's this amount now, but it could go down by a lot because you're only paying 20% of that property. And it's saying that you could probably be paying like you could be paying like 90-ish thousand, but shit, there's a way that you can, you know, get that joint for even less than that. You can come up off of 70,000 and still be able to lock that deal down. But that just like that goes like off the subject, kind of, you know. I mean, get back on subject. So banks give a hard time to investors looking to get finance for single family homes, but the banks are lining up to fund people for apartment buildings. The interest rates were incredibly low. In many cases, you could get a non-recourse loan, which means they didn't have to be personally guaranteed. Best of all, there was no limit to how many loans you could have. The sky was the limit. The sky is the limit for that. So that's number 4. So number 5, you can get paid for syndicating apartment deals. And that goes back to what I was talking about, syndicating and shit like that. That's basically finding deals or building deals for apartment buildings. Like you basically you're finding the best deals you're going around, driving around, you know, looking for apartment buildings that have went in default, or the owner is old and they're just trying to get rid of their property, or something happened. But you're trying to find the owner. You're trying to find these deals. You're syndicating these deals. You're trying to, you know, get these deals. So syndication is, like I said, the finding of deals, raising down the payment from the private investors, and putting the deal together. 3 ways syndicators get paid up front. Syndicators can get paid when they purchase a property with an acquisition fee, which can range from 1 to 5% of the purchase. The acquisition fee is compensation. Syndicators, while they own the asset, the syndicator gets sweat equity in the deal, typically from 10% to 30%. They are sometimes also paid an asset management fee, which is a percentage of net income. When they sell or refinance the asset, the syndicator can be paid a capital transaction or disposition fee between 1 and 3% of the sale price. When they sell the asset, I discovered that I could be compensated and build just by syndicating, build my real estate business just by syndicating deals and finding, you know, good deals on apartments and shit like that. Like, I'm gonna put some things to play here soon, and I'm gonna start like doing some walkthroughs and actually showing you guys how to do it, you know, real soon here. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about and kind of see the steps that I'm taking to do it and things like that. I'm partnered up with a guy who does a whole lot of wholesaling on the side and shit, and I was fucking with him on some shit. Our schedules didn't align, so like that's why I wasn't, you know, doing it with him. But I'm gonna get back on it here soon, as soon as my schedule lightens up a little bit. Apartments are more scalable, and what that means is apartment buildings had in a unique combination passive income control, favorable risk profile and availability of financing and scalability. You can watch a video on how to pay yourself. It's called 30,000. How to pay yourself 30,000 when buying an apartment building with investors in the companion course. It's in his book right here, financialfreedom.com. Chapter 1, My Rocky Road to Financial Freedom. And like I said, that's the 6 reasons why investing in apartment buildings are way better than investing in single family homes. I mean, you're going to get a lot farther. You're going to be more successful. You're going to have passive income, and you're going to be able to live the life that you want to live. I mean, shit, I mean, one thing about it, 2 things for sure. Like I said, you get your apartment building or a multifamily unit, which I mean by multifamily, it doesn't have to be anything better than one house is good. Like, you can get you a duplex, you can get you a multi-unit place. So like, if, say for instance, you get you a apartment that just has 2 units. 2 units is better than one single family, because one thing about it, you can use that apartment or that multifamily unit as collateral to obtain other properties. You know what I'm saying? You can use it as to obtain other properties, and when you're able to obtain other properties, you know, you're able to change your tax bracket. You know what I mean? You're able to live a lot better. Like I said, that passive income is the end goal. It should be the end goal for everybody. You should want to, stop having to work a job day to day and wonder, will next, I mean, you're obviously getting paid and stuff like that, but that one job can't cover all your bills. You know what I'm saying? And if it does, you working extremely hard, working hella hours, exchanging time for money, and your money should be working for you. You should be exchanging money for time. And what I mean by that is, like, shit, when I say money for time, I mean you should be like taking those steps to gain your time back. You know what I mean? Like, fuck working at a job all these different years. I mean, it's cool. I'm not downing a person who works at a job. I'm just saying that if you're going to work at a job, you might as well be saving money to invest into some sort of asset that can create passive income for you. Because, like I said, working a job is not going to make you rich. Working a job, even working in there 30, 40, 50 years, I mean, it's still not going to make you rich. I mean, you're going to be working there all this time and you're making a company rich, but you're only going to be able to have so much money or be able to spend so much money when you're able to retire. And that shit it's not the end goal for me. I'm not trying to work at nobody's job for all these years, and then, like, by the time I reach like 50, 60 years old, I get a retirement. I get a retirement account spending limit with 401k or IRA, Roth and shit like that, and I only have like 100, maybe 200k saved into this joint, to where, like, I'm old now, so where the fuck am I gonna be spending all this money at? Like, I'm not gonna be one to go on trips and all that stuff because of the fact that I'm old. Like, I'm not gonna be one to do all that. Like, I'm gonna be one to stay at home and enjoy the little time that I have left in my life. And I'm not saying, like, that's a bad thing, but it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to retire at age 30. You know what I mean? And that's a few more years now for me. So that means that the momentum that I'm going to be going at is going to be really, really, really crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure by the age 40 that I have established everything that I could have established in my 50s, 60s. You know what I mean? I want to have things done that most people don't have done in a lifetime. So that's my end goal. Like I said, everybody's success is different. Everybody's perspective of success is different. So, you got to move at your own pace and move at your own rate. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Make it work for you. But that's it I want to talk about today. Just apartment, just real estate in general. I'm gonna keep it real brief today because I didn't really want to get on because my device has been acting up lately. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe I need to update them. That's probably what it is. So yeah, like I said, man, get back at your boy, man. Do you have any questions about anything? I tagged a guy who can assist you with some more consultations on real estate. Real estate is something that I've been studying for the past few years, and the same thing that I've been focusing on. and actually building the contacts and resources that I need to become successful in this industry. Self knowledge, self help, and self education is the best way to. Now, if you're the type of person who like to per se, what is it? Should I say, go to school and do that? You know what I mean? You need school to be able to help you. You don't have the drive to do it on your own. I suggest that. But me, I'm more self-educated. I read, I look at videos, I listen to podcasts, and I take action, and I actually network with individuals that I know that can help me get towards the goals that I'm trying to reach. So that's just me. I can't speak for everybody else, but like I said, I tagged the guy who can help you out with the real estate questions and shit like that in the post. That's all I'm gonna talk about today. If you're interested in real estate and learning how to obtain properties without any money down, or if you don't have any capital and you want to leave your job, I suggest this book right here. Is going to teach you a lot about wholesaling and how to go about that route, and how to become a professional at this. To where you're able to do this stuff, with no issues at all, with no sort of help. I mean, only the help you're gonna need is having your team. And like I said, you ain't gotta pay them half the time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? You just, this guy has a program to where you can utilize his team to where you can help. He's gonna help you obtain your first deal to where you're able to make some money and obtain your own team. But like I said, this is a good book. I read it when I was locked up. I'm following his program as well now. I'm waiting till I get a couple more restrictions lifted up off of me so I can move around and kind of start doing this stuff so you guys can see it. But in the meanwhile, I appreciate you guys who did tune in and come watch me today. This is a great book. I recommend. I'm gonna have somebody come on next week probably to be a special guest, and maybe some music stuff. I don't know yet. I'm gonna keep asking around. I think next week I'm gonna probably have somebody. I'm gonna have a special guest who y'all ain't seen for a long time. Come on, who y'all ain't seen surface for a while. Y'all gonna be surprised when y'all see it, man. It's gonna be a dope little concept, man. Y'all gonna like what y'all see. But yeah, like I said, this book right here, Michael Blank, Financial Freedom, with real estate investing, is gonna teach you a lot about wholesaling and how to obtain your first deal and how to become successful and go from and keep on using that training and using that training and using those skills and courses that you learn from him to keep to change your financial status and become financially free. Like I said, everybody's success is different. Whatever flows